Welcome back to Lone Wolf, Book 9, The Cauldron of Fear. We're on 48 deaths. Almost half of them in the last book. And we died once on this book. It wasn't too bad though, it was a bit fairer. So this time we don't really have great combat skill. So last time we got quite far into the book. We got into the underground cavern where you're supposed to go. And then there was a series of fights, like 3 in a row. And I mean, they weren't individually hard. Each of them was quite doable, but just back to back, I didn't survive. I was close though. I was like on 1 HP. But it seems like there might be ways to avoid those fights, which we'll try to do this time because my combat sucks. Well, combat is alright, it's average. Alright, so as before, we question these people because that gets us the pass. Mask of Boza, sure. Oh, and if we give them money, what happens again? They take us to... They take us to a wise man who tells us that a friend of ours will betray us. Well, we don't need to do that this time. And the sign is pointing the wrong way. So if we talk to the farmhands... Sidara? Did we go to Sidara last time? Let's go to Sidara. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the Jacks. Well, we can try and fight them. So, nothing much happens. Alright. Continue. Alright. And then we stay at the inn. All the riddles. We can do the riddles and win stuff. The stagger is now half as old. Oh, what was the answer? Half as old as my son. 5? Was it 5? Yeah. We can take 2 things. I don't know. We never found a use for any of them. Order some food. Troops turn up and ask us why we're going to Tahu. We show them the invitation. Then we got the Jack Wolf Riders. The bow. Show the invitation. Alright, the eating house. Oh. This is where they ambush us and we get blamed for it. I go to Chiban's house instead. Alright, we're in a different branch now. Soon you arrive at a part of the city that Vanadon remembers well. It borders a large public garden called the Rainbow Park, so named because of the vast number of rare and colorful flowers that grow there. The park is now an encampment for those who have answered the President's desperate call for defenders. Survivors from the towns of Reza and Zila have joined forces with green-clad Daroga woodsmen, tough hill dwellers from the Char mountain valley, and river folk from the Churdas, forming regiments to reinforce the Tahu garrison. Their battle-stained banners, lit by the flickering glow of 100 campfires, flutter above the tents that fill the great park. Opposite the entrance stands the Guild Hall of Tailors. You turn into an avenue running beside this imposing hall, and then cross into the North District by means of alleys and side streets, and finally emerge at Leech Street, just opposite the house of Chiban the Magician. His is a grand building of polished red stone set with small diamond-paned windows that twinkle like cat's eyes in the moonlight. You pass beneath its arched gateway and climb the magnificent tiled steps that lead to a black oak door. Banadon raps the knocker and you wait patiently for it to open. Minutes later, the great door swings aside and the aristocratic figure of Chiban stands framed in the doorway. Keen-eyed and grey-haired, he welcomes you with both surprise and delight. "Banadon!" he exclaims, like a father reunited with a long-lost son. "How good it is to see you! But what brings you to Tahu at this darkest of hours? Have you come to offer your skills in the defense of our beleaguered city?" "My services are yours to command, my lord Chiban," answers Banadon, bowing respectfully to his former mentor. "Yet also I return to your esteemed household to seek your help at the behest of King Alnar of Summerland. May I introduce my companion, Lone Wolf?" Chiban turns his kindly gaze on you and smiles knowingly. "I am honored to meet you, Kai Lord," he says. "I have knowledge of that which you seek, and I shall aid you all I can in your search for it." He beckons you to enter, and the door closes behind you, seemingly of its own accord. You follow Chiban to his study. The musty room is lined with massive wooden racks full of books and papers. At its center, a large circular table is completely covered with the implements of his magical researches. He clears a space amid the clutter and motions you to sit. "You must both be famished after your journey here. Come, eat and enjoy." For a few seconds, a shimmering pool of light fills the space, and then fades, leaving a sumptuous meal of grilled trout, baked potatoes, hake root, and sparkling Anarian wine. When you have finished your meal, you talk at length about your journey from Desi and your quest for the Lawstone of Tahu. Chiban produces a map of the city, which he unfurls on the floor of his study, and the only surface not cluttered with magical equipment. With his toe, he points to the location of the Tahu Cauldron. It is in the Square of the Dragons in the West District of the city. The cauldron is a funnel-shaped hollow with a circular shaft at its base. The shaft descends to the ruins of the ancient city of Zarix, 500 feet below the streets of Tahu. Legend tells us that the Lawstone was thrown into the cauldron to prevent the Black Zakhan of Vasagonia from capturing it during the Great Cordain War. The shaft was closing off and has remained sealed for the past 360 years. He looks up from the map, and you notice that his smiling features are now sad and composed. At dawn, the armies of Dark Lord Gnag will be at the gates of the city, and the Battle of Tahu will have begun. My duty is here in the defense of my beloved city. Otherwise, I would willingly accompany you on our search. There is only one man who can help you now, for he is the only one that can grant you access to the shaft that descends to Zarix. He is President Toltuda of Anaria. Oh no. Come, I will arrange an audience with him immediately. This is a bloody coin flip. With a casual wave of his hand, Chiban conjures up a quill and sheet of parchment. He begins to dictate the request for an audience, and the quill moves of its own accord, as if guided by an invisible hand. The request, once completed, is then dispatched by messenger to the Anarium, the House of the Senate, where members of the Governing Council have gathered for an emergency assembly called for by the President himself. Within the hour, the messenger returns with a scroll bearing the presidential seal. "He has agreed to hear your plea, Lone Wolf," says the aged magician, his ice blue eyes scanning the official reply. "Banadon congratulates you and feel your spirits rise, but Chiban seems a little disappointed. I was expecting a private audience," he says, "but in view of the current situation, I suppose it is the best we can hope for. You must appear before the Senate this evening and state your reasons for wishing to enter the Tahu Cauldron. They will consider your request and vote accordingly. If they grant their approval, only you may enter. If they forbid you entry, You may not appeal against it. Their decision will be final. He hands you the scroll and arranges for his personal coach to take you to the Anarium. As you climb into the passenger seat, he and Banadon wish you good luck. I shall pray for your success, says Chiban, and I shall pray that we are still alive to see your triumphant return, old friend, says Banadon, as you exchange a farewell wave. And then we're at the, we do all this again. And it's 50-50. Again, we failed. Well, no, we didn't fail. It's just they're not going to let us use the Cauldron. Minus 17? The net wraps itself around your legs and brings you down on at the top of the stairs. The Law of Fire, which Circle of Fire we do have, would have helped us there, but it wasn't enough. You cannot prevent yourself from rolling forwards, and with a cry of fear and frustration, you tumble headlong down the hard stone staircase to land in a crumpled heap at the bottom. These soldiers are waiting for you. They clutch wooden staves in their sweaty palms, with which they hope to beat you senseless. Get him, they shout, and run forward to strike before you can disentangle yourself from the net. You can't use a weapon or a special item or... Oh god. No, it's over. That was bad. What have we got now? 6, not bad. We'll take sword, bow, spear. Right, same again, curing and hunt mastery. Alright. Again. Question the people. I mean, it's only good. And it gets us the invitation. Examine the wares. Get the flask. Might be useful. Question the farmhands. Alright, Sidara is overrun by Jacks. Like, we lose 2 arrows if we go there. We'll see what the outcome is if we actually hit the Jacks twice. Nice, we actually killed the Jacks this time. A gurgling scream echoes from the alleyway. Your arrow has found its mark. Seconds later, the Jax staggers into view, its arms thrashing wildly as it tries to grab hold of the shaft buried deep in the middle of its back. In desperation, it draws a dagger from its boot and attempts to throw it at you, but a wave of pain engulfs the creature at that moment, and the vicious blade slips harmlessly from its grasp. With one last curse, it swoons and drops lifelessly to the ground. What the heck? Using your weapon to avoid touching their evil-smelling bodies, you flick open the satchels slung over each of their shoulders. They are filled with all manner of items looted from the village. You tip out the contents and discover. Oh my god. Alright, we'll take the special items. Are they special items? No, they're all backpack items. We've got a full backpack now. So we've got lantern and rope. Got brass whistle. We don't need food. Alright. So we get a lot of stuff. We can take 2 of these things. Oh my god, we've got so much treasure. We don't actually need the rope because we have the hunt mastery. No, that's not to do with rope. We should keep the rope. What is all this stuff for? Blanket is probably practically useful. We get rid of one of them and take one of these items. I don't know, the silk jacket. And take the scroll of honor. Alright. And then we got the jacks. And then we get... Alright, then we go to Shiban's house, and then we'll just end up at the Senate again for the vote. Come on. No! Seize him! Again! Wow, so last time I got 0 here. Alright, so there's a very low chance of actually getting captured by the net. It's like a 1 in 10. Alright, and then we run. So we're on the run. Escape through the window. And then we end up in... we end up joining the Thieves Guild instead, because the president has voted against us, and we tell him what we're up to, and he'll assist us. We can take any of this stuff, take the arrows. So we can get a spear here. So, canteen of water. See, we should take the water. It's more practical. Alright, get rid of the crystal decanter. Alright. We descend. And we use the rope. Yeah, you do need the rope. And then what happens? We end up just going into the cave as before. Oh, then we have to fight this ghoul. Well, this is not too bad, but we end up fighting a lot of things, so... Okay. So... we fire an arrow at the ghouls. So last time we ran up the stairs, but then we were kind of we had to fight something else, and then there was just too many things to fight. Maybe we fight them right now. Before climbing the stairs. Slowly the ghouls slink away until their forms merge with the shadows at the far side of the lake. One of their number has been crouching above the entrance to the hollow, waiting to drop on you at the first opportunity. Ah, so that's what happened last time. But on seeing its kin disperse, it decides not to remain any longer. As it jumps down from the step above, an odd-looking token falls from the pocket of its tattered jacket. It tries to retrieve it, but you step forward and strike a blow that lays open its stringy grey hand, and the accursed creature scurries away, hissing ghoulish obscenities. Let's have a look at the token. It is hexagonal in shape and made of a thin, cream-coloured metal, which is engraved with the number 6. Alright. Make a note of 6. The metal begins to get hot, and soon you can bend it with your fingers. Suddenly it bursts into flames, forcing you to fling it aside before it burns your hand. The flaming token hits the lake and explodes in a cloud of white powdery smoke. The echo of the explosion reverberates across the water, and you turn to leave straight away in case it attracts more ghoulish inhabitants. The climb to the arch at the top of the stairs is a slow and laborious one. Each step is as tall as a young tree, and the smooth black stone offers few handholds. Several hours slip by before you reach the summit. There you stare down through the great archway at a stupendous sight. The streets and buildings of an ancient civilization lie before you, disappearing into the gloom of a titanic chasm of immeasurable size. Ziggurats and towers, their carved walls cracked and crumbling, lean at impossible angles, having sunk into the soil over the centuries. This is Zarix, the legendary metropolis that was once home to a race fathered by Nixator, the greatest of all dragons. It is the only city to have survived the age of chaos that followed the demise of their race. A wide avenue leads from the archway to enter the city at a place flanked by 2 massive statues of dragons, sitting on their haunches with their stone-fanged mouths agape. You stop to rest here, and you must now eat a meal or lose blah blah blah. You are about to set off into the city when you catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure moving furtively among the ruins of an edifice to your left. Let's investigate. Fearfully, you approach the shadow until you can discern its gruesome features. It is a ghoul, similar to those you encountered in the Hollow, but this creature looks even less human. Its swollen skull is set lopsided on its withered frame, and the long black tongue that hangs from its shagged mouth drips with a sticky black venom that bubbles like boiling acid as it hits the ground. It raises a wasted hand, and a cone of mist whirls towards your chest. Oh, bollocks. This is... Oh, no. Really? -4? You try to dodge aside, but the mist whirls around you like a snake. The intense heat burns your body. It is as if you are surrounded by coils of white-hot metal, and your mind is filled with terrifying images of the supernatural. Confident that it has ensnared another victim, the grey ghoul stalks forward. You fight to clear your mind of the swirling visions as the creature raises its hand and prepares to strike you down with a pitted iron spike. Oh, poop. Dead. That's not too hard, but we were a bit injured by his... I don't want to take side screen though, because hunting is more useful for ambushes. I felt like we were doing well that time. Alright. 4. Come on, give me good combat skill. That's really frustrating when they just... when they put so many fights in, but... we could avoid them, though. Alright, same again. Alright, definitely take the fire seed, the quiver, and the bow. We don't need to take the sword because we get given a weapon by the thieves. So just take the lantern. And the rope. We need the rope. Alright, starting again. So I can question the people. How much money do we have? 13. We lose it all to the thieves anyway. Alright, if we defeat these jacks, it's kind of worth it. No, we failed. Okay, we can take two things. Just take these two. And then we just enter the city. We'll use the bow. Use the invitation. Don't go in the eating house. Now we're in the Senate. And we get seized again 4 times in a row. Alright. Take the arrows, a blanket, spear. Water. Tinderbox, I suppose. Maybe another rope. What do we need the tinderbox for? Maybe just take the other rope. Because we use one rope. Alright. So, send the rope ladder. Try this option. What does this do? This gets us one more endurance point, essentially. Alright. So, oh, we're really quite hurt. Really quite hurt. Ooh, almost dead. Use the bow. That. Okay, we know the token says 6. Don't pick it up this time. I probably should have done it. I should have picked it up because it just spends more time and that heals you more. Alright, ignore the shadow. Oh no, you have taken less than a dozen steps when a terrible pain lances through your mind. A swirling cloud of mist engulfs your body and you are held in its paralyzing grip. Unless you possess the Magnified discipline of sight screen and blah blah blah, gritting your teeth against the dreadful pain, you force yourself to turn and face your attacker as it runs forward to strike you down. -2. That's not terrible, but we're on the verge of death. Dead. One. Like, we can't avoid the... Oh, for fuck's sake. potion would help, but it's only 4. Did I take the bow? Alright, take the bow. Alright, take a... Alright, whatever. Should we do the Sidara thing? Yeah, because you only use the bow for it. Alright. Again! It's 50-50 chance. And 5 times in a row we've been seized. They've rigged the election. Alright. Take the water. The arrows, the blanket, the spear, another rope. Alright, so -4 is not too bad. We get injured from the thing. Alright. Okay. So we'll try and waste time to heal ourselves as much as possible. So examine the token. Get a bit more health. Alright, so we're here. 1929. Do we have the potion? Why did I not take the potion? I should take the potion next time. Instead of the rope, because we get a rope anyway. So if we... We ignore the shadow, but then we have to fight something else. Oh, we have to fight it anyway, so we should just ambush him. Fuck. Oh, oh, oh! Oh, so close! We should ambush him. I think we'll get better... combat skill, probably. 5. Better. You must take curing for this. There's no way you succeed without curing. So take the potion, like, we need all the health we can get. You don't need the rope, because we'll get a rope. Lantern is good, though. I mean, we're just repeating ourselves here. Alright. And we arrive at the city. Is the president ever gonna vote in favor of us? Alright. Oh, fuck, really? 6 times in a row. I know the bow, we want the spear. Did we take the potion? Yeah, we don't need it yet. Damn, I got hurt quite a bit there. Okay, so here we should probably just take the potion. So I take the potion. -5 is still pretty bad. Alright. Ooh. Ooh. Yes! At last, the grisly creature surrenders to death and collapses at your feet. You sheathe your weapon and kneel over its torn body, drawn by the sight of a ring on a finger of its right hand. Oh, it's the brother. The sun, I mean. It gleams incredibly, as though only minutes old, and the deep yellow stone that is set in the silvery metal glows with an eldritch light. For countless hours, you follow the great avenue as it bisects the heart of Xarax. The once grand buildings that line this ancient thoroughfare are in varying states of decay. Some are almost intact, while others have disintegrated into more than piles of black rubble. You try to keep track of time, but it proves difficult in the perpetual half-light of this buried world. Twice you stop to eat, sleep and eat before you near the center of the city. There you discover a great hall, its arched porticos smooth and undamaged by time. As you pass through one of these massive arches, you notice a group of reptilian creatures huddled at the top of a staircase that descends into darkness. They are stroking a large leathery egg and speaking to each other in a low hissing language. They're forcing us to approach them. I'd rather just turn around. Let's approach them. Maybe they can actually speak. Like we're... Oh, God. We don't have invisibility. The black flagstones are covered with a fine layer of grit that scrunches with every step you take. The reptilians hear you and fix you with frightened stares. They wrap their webbed hands around the leathery egg protectively and slink quickly down the stairs. You run to the top of the staircase and peer down in the gloom, but you can see nothing in the darkness. We do have a lantern. As your light flares into life, you notice an object lying on the steps. It was dropped by one of those reptilians as it made its hasty escape. I have seen one of these before. With the experience of what happens when you last touched one of these strange tokens still fresh in your mind, you avoid picking up this one. However, this does not stop you from looking at its intricate design. This token is engraved with a mathematical equation, and you calculate the answer to be 320. Okay, we've got 6, 320. Cautiously, you descend the staircase, expecting the unexpected. Alright, we're still healing. Your weapon held ready in case the reptilians attempt a surprise attack. The glow of your light washes over the black stone stairs below, and you freeze in your tracks when you notice a poorly concealed trap. Carefully, you step over the snare, continue towards a door at the bottom of the stairs. It is unlocked and slightly ajar. Don't have a mirror. And yes, let's try that. Your caution is well placed. As soon as the door creaks open, a bolt of fiery energy screams over your head and explodes with a tremendous ear-splitting crack against the stairs behind. It was launched from a tube of glowing crystal, supported on the shoulders of two reptilians kneeling in the corridor ahead. Their long jaws fall open in shocked surprise when they see you rise to your feet and run towards them, your weapon drawn, ready to strike. Sarix. Oh, we can survive the first 2 rounds. Well, this is easy. You follow the corridor to a curved flight of alabaster stairs and descend them to a massive chamber. The floor is constructed of steely blue metal flecked with silver, and 100 darkened archways line the walls. Directly ahead stand 2 gigantic doors of sheeted platinum, engraved with patterns breathtaking in their intricacy. The chamber is deserted, but as you cross the floor and approach the doors, you are acutely aware that any one of the archers could be hiding a legion of reptilians. In the center of the door, there is a lock that consists of 4 hexagonal buttons arranged in the shape of a pyramid, with 1 button at the top and 3 buttons in the line below it. Every time you touch a button, a glowing number appears on its surface. Your basic Kai sense informs you that this is a combination lock. If you press each button several times until the correct numbers show on all 4 buttons, the lock will release and the doors will open. If you know the correct number to press for the top button and the correct 3-figure number for the bottom 3 buttons, add both numbers together and turn to the entry that has the same number. Okay. It's 326. There is a soft whir as the mechanism of the lock disengages, but the door does not open. You will need this key, the words sound in your head. You spin around to see a female reptilian, the leader of her kind. She moves towards you from an archway to your right, holding a rod of corlinium in her webbed hand. The glint of several eyes in the darkness of the other archers warn that she is not alone. Telepathically, she calls to you. You are unlike the other man-things that have dared to enter Zarix. What is it that you seek? Hello, DJ. How goes the books? Well, this book we've died a few times too. Last book, book 8, that was the worst. Probably half our deaths are owed to that book. This book's alright. I think it's a bit better, a bit fairer. We'll tell her the truth. I seek the Lawstone of Tahu, you reply boldly. I am the Kai Lord Lone Wolf, and I quest for the wisdom of Nixator, that I may vanquish the spawn of his enemies and save my people from destruction. Her harsh gaze softens as your proud words fill the chamber with resonant echoes. You sense a sadness within her, but she replies with words of joy that form in your mind. Your quest will be fulfilled, as it was by your sire many centuries ago. We have waited long for your coming, Skarn. We will fulfill our duty to him who gave us life. She opens the great platinum doors and beckons you to follow her. You follow her along passages and sloping tunnels, down long flights of stairs, and through magnificent chambers that no human eye has ever seen before. The alien splendor of this ancient city leaves you in awe of the race that once dwelt in these halls. For interminable hours you follow in her wake until you arrive at a circular chamber of rust-red stone. The floor descends in a series of wide steps that encircle the room, and in the middle of the tiers is a shallow pit with a stone dais at its center. As you approach, the dais glows with a crimson light that pulses like a living heart. Shimmering waves of silvery radiance sweep the steps, and a chorus of voices, soft and sirenic, echo through the upper reaches of the chamber. You surrender yourself to instinct and step upon the dais, cupping your hands before you and raising your face to the roof. A golden light pours out of the darkness, soaking you in its brilliance, and filling your senses with a glowing warmth. A gasp of awe arises from the tiers, now crowded with reptilians. They are the Krokariks, the guardians of this city, the stewards of the Lawstone, who were placed here by the great god Kai. With joy and sorrow, they have gathered to witness the fulfillment of their purpose, for your coming marks the end of their stewardship and the beginning of their demise. High above you is a shadow is taking form at the core of the golden light. It is dark and leathery and shaped like an egg. Slowly it breaks and peels open to reveal a sparkling crystal sphere. It is the Lawstone of Tahu, the object of your quest. A warm tingling runs through your body as the Lawstone descends into your hands, and as you touch the crystal, your senses become charged with a new vitality that obliterates the fatigue of your ordeal and fills you with newfound wisdom and strength. Then a swirl of color engulfs your body and you feel yourself fall into the throat of a spinning vortex. The chamber dissolves and you begin to rise at an ever-increasing speed as if you are falling upwards. A surge of light makes you close your eyes, but it passes in an instant and you find yourself staring down at an incredible and terrible sight. You look upon the city of Tahu from the balcony of a tall tower, the spire of the Talis Temple, situated at the heart of Rainbow Park. It is noon, but there is no brightness in this day, for a grey blanket of smoke covers the sky. Below you lies the shattered city, its once proud buildings now seething infernos, its streets and squares choked with rubble. Hasty defences have been constructed where the city wall is holed or fallen, and the battlements to the north and east are covered with unburied dead. Beyond the wall, the flats lie shrouded in a mist that curls like a smoke of 1,000 campfires. Its thickness is unnatural, and you sense at once it has been conjured to hide the enemy. You leave the tower and make your own way through the burning streets towards the West District, where the fighting at the wall is fiercest. You pass the smouldering ruins of the Anarium and take a fire-swept street that leads to the West Gate. A building at the end of this street is being used as a shelter for the wounded. The roof has caught fire and a handful of soldiers are trying desperately to evacuate the wounded before it collapses. We'll help them. The first floor is soon set ablaze as the wind whips the roof fire into a raging inferno. A soldier, his face and uniform completely blackened by soot, staggers down the stairs and collapses into your arms. The captain's up there, he croaks, his throat burning from inhaling the scorching air. He went to save his brother just before the roof caught. You start up the stairs, but the first floor is already engulfed by flames. A gust of wind whips the fire down the stairwell, scorching your face and tunic and forcing you to retreat into the street. Unable to help those who have been caught in the inferno, you leave the house sadly and hurry towards the west gate. You reach the west gate and climb the body-strewn stairs to the battlements. On this side of the city, the mist is less dense, and you can see the regiments of Dracaran warriors advancing in lines towards the great moat. Behind them are trundled huge machines of war designed to fire canisters of boiling oil and red-hot liquid metal over the city wall. Cavalry wait in reserve while siege towers and catapults are hauled forward by lumbering Gorkas and muscular, leathery Zal. At the foot of the wall, a unit of Salanese engineers are repairing the damage done to a bridge they constructed during the night. They have only one more plank to lay to make the bridge safe, and enable a squad of Dracaran assault troopers to reach the west gate. You see a soldier creep to the edge of the bridge and raise a large screen to protect the engineer who is laying this final plank. Let's use the bow. The Dracaran assault troopers crouch behind their oblong shields, waiting for their chance to storm the gate. You draw your arrow and take aim at the engineer's screen. You will have only a second in which to fire as he steps forward to slip the final plank in place. Really? You only need that one plank to make the bridge viable? Alright. Yeah! Your shaft pierces the engineer's throat, sending him toppling into the moat. In panic, the soldier drops his screen and runs back across the bridge towards the Drakiran. They view this as an act of cowardice and kill him out of hand as a warning to the Salonese. Your bow skill has bought the defenders at the Westgate precious time to patch their battered defenses. You're about to help them when a new threat looms to the north. Oh. Okay, we got full health, so we should win this. Further along the battlements, a group of determined Jack soldiers have climbed the wall using a scaling ladder. Leading their attack is a large scaly Gorgaz who wields a two-handed axe with devastating effect. It cuts a gruesome path through the Anarian defenders and launches itself at you. Good, 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 good. With their leader slain, the Jacks suddenly lose their nerve and fall back to their ladder. You leap forward and help them on their way with a flurry of blows that leaves 6 dead at your feet. Several leap from the battlements into the moat rather than stand and base your deadly counterattack. Within minutes, the wall is cleared of the enemy and a squad of Slovian mercenaries arrives to plug the gap. Principalin? We're nowhere near that, right? An open wagon, drawn by a team of battle-scarred horses, hurtles along the street that borders the city wall. Standing beside the driver is the captain of the Senate House Guard. His thick black hair billows out behind him like the wings of an eagle as he calls desperately for reinforcements for the North Gate. Sure. The wagon races along the rubble-strewn street towards a tower, one of many that reinforce the city wall. Standing at the top of the tower is your companion, Banadon. You ask the captain to stop and let you speak to your old friend, but he refuses to even slow down. I must reach the North Gate without delay, he bellows, and whips his horses to increase their speed. Oh, didn't the fortune teller tell me that a friend of mine will betray me? Could it be Banadon? What happened to Banadon? Has he been turned? No, because the fortune teller said we'll meet a friend. We already knew Banadon, didn't we? I don't know. We'll go meet Banadon. You search the road ahead for somewhere soft to land, but the surface is strewn with sharp boulders. You land heavily among the rocks and debris, gashing open both knees and your chin before rolling to a halt at the base of the tower wall. The iron door to the tower is unlocked and you enter unopposed. At the top of the steep stone steps, you find a ladder to a trapdoor. Quickly, you climb the ladder and emerge onto the roof. By the gods, exclaims Banadon when you appear. My prayers have been answered. You are alive, Lone Wolf. You are alive. Tears of joy fill his eyes as he welcomes your return warmly. He and his mentor, Chiban, have been viewing the siege from this vantage point for the last 3 days. From this position, they control the movement of the few reserves allocated to the north and west city walls, using them to fill in the gaps where the enemy's attacks have weakened the defenses. Banadon recounts how the siege has progressed, how twice the enemy has broken into the city and been repelled by their determined defenders. Attacks from the air have set the city ablaze, but the enemy has lost great numbers of their flying crown, and now they are too weak to dare to use the few that remain. The Anarium was destroyed in the first few hours of the siege, and many senators lost their lives, including Senator Chill and President Toltuda. Well, he voted against me, and so did the Senate, so whatever. Then he asks of your quest, and is overjoyed to hear of its success. The gods smile on you, Lone Wolf. So long as you live, there is hope for us all. Relentlessly, an enemy pour their fire upon the north and west city walls until the black sky above Tahu takes on a vivid scarlet glow. The defenders look to their weapons uneasily and pray that the gods are with them, at least until dawn. And when the first rays of dawn light show above the eastern hills, no mists enshroud the armies of Dark Lord Nag. They are all massed in all their glory, awaiting the order to attack. You cast your eye across this sea of doom and mark the many regiments of evil that are ranged against the walls of Tahu. The armored legions of Vasagonia are the first to advance, moving in ordered columns towards the west gate. At their head walks a figure sheathed in gold, around whom a cold blue fire glows intensely. He strides within range of the city archers, and they send a cloud of arrows to greet him, but these shatter and crackle when they encounter his impregnable glowing shield. He crosses the siege bridge and halts before the west gate. In his hand is an orb of black metal. He holds it before him and mouths an incantation. Instantly, a bolt of scarlet flame lances from the orb, destroying the great doors with a thunderous boom. Proudly, he strides into the city, and the defenders melt before him. One summons enough courage to attack him with a spear. There is a crackling flash, and in an instant, the soldier is transformed into a pile of glowing ash. He advances, unchecked and undaunted by all attacks, for they cannot penetrate his magical shield. Only when he comes face to face with you does he stop. "I have come for you, Lone Wolf," he says, a cruel smile on his lips. You gaze into the ice-cold eyes of Zakan Kima, ruler of Vasagonia. As he raises his orb of black metal, you steel yourself for the battle that is about to commence. Oh no. We don't have the Summer Sword, because who still has the Summer Sword by this book? I think that will really help us. We do have a Psychic Ring. A surge of scarlet energy leaps from the orb and rips into your arm, hurling you backwards onto the ground. The Zakan laughs mockingly as he raises the orb once more, this time to finish you for good. You are aware of the Zakan's troops fighting a desperate battle off the west gate, and you know you must defeat him or else the city will be lost. The power of the ring greatly amplifies your psychic energies as you attack the Zakan. They disrupt his control over the Orb of Death and enable you to penetrate his shield with an ordinary weapon. Ratio 10? Oh, minus 10? Oh god. No, we've lost. How the heck? We have to... He's not a monster though, he's a regular guy, so with magic, so we can use Sight Surge next time maybe. We're not going to survive this. Nope. Minus 10, that's ridiculous. We need better combat skill, and we should probably pick Sight Surge to get an extra +2. I don't know. Alright, well that's a death. Come on. It's a forced fight, and you can't beat that fight if you have, like, low combat skill. Like, that, you don't stand a chance. Four, 1. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to survive this one. But you have to fight, so take the bow and the sword and the spear. Hearing. Alright, so I think instead of Hunt Mastery. Alright, my voice is going because I've been talking a lot this book, so I think we'll end the stream there, but for next time I'll take Sight Surge. Yeah. Got lots of money, but what do you need money for? Alright, so... we can have another stab at it, but... we don't really stand a chance with this slow combat skill, unless there's a way of avoiding him. It says something about a dagger. I don't know where you get the dagger. But we'll leave this till next time. Okay, if I roll good combat skill, then I think I have a decent chance of winning that. There's no major traps along the way, along that path I chose. But if we've got low combat skill, then we should really just try to find the dagger. Alright then. See you next time, Lone Wolf.